of the flash floods. And at this hour, we're expecting President William Ruto to issue an address to the nation. Let's interact on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. All right, our top focus this afternoon, a section of junior secondary school teachers in Baringo County brought business to a standstill in Kabarnet Town as they staged managed protest in Kabarnet Town over what they term as unfair remuneration. Chair, Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers Baringo County Branch, David Kibet, made a passionate plea to the government to promptly compensate the teachers.
Nasema hivi, serikali ipate kuconfirm hawa kwa PN kwa sababu hawa ni walimu wamehitimu, wako na cheti cha degree na wamepewa kipawa ya kusomesha watoto wetu.
Serikali na TSC waweze kuconfirm interns. Kwanza kotini wametuambia neno intern ni illegal. By the way, intern ni mwalimu ambaye hajahitimu.
We want to say as Kupet Baringo, our teachers must be confirmed, and we shall continue to be in the streets as we go along. Enough is enough. Enough is enough, and therefore we are saying, can you confirm, and can you confirm the JSS teachers?
A section of residents from Bamba community in Ganze sub-county, Kilifi County, now demand the interdiction of area assistant chief over his alleged involvement in grabbing of community land. The residents, drawn from several villages in Dangarani sub-location, presented a petition at the Ganze Deputy County Commissioner's office, claiming that the conduct of the national government administrator was uncouth and that the community was suffering under his watch. The locals now want the National Land Commission, NLC, the Kilifi County government and the national government to halt any further subdivision and sale of land in the area until their grievances are solved.
Ni sikitiko kubwa kuona kipindi hichi kinaleta vita, kinaleta hata vifo. Manake mimi nikiwa ninakasirika na hata mdogo wangu atasikia nini yeye? Hana mahali kwa kujenga, hana mahali kwa kulima. Mahali tumeonyeshwa hapo ndio panaweza kutuhifadhi. Subchief anapasimamia kwa lazima anapapatia grupu zake. Anawasainia grupu zake kwamba hapo ni kwake.
Tunaomba na assistant chief aweze kutolewa, jambo la kwanza. Jambo la pili ni kwamba katika zile ardhi wale investors wamewekwa pale ndani, hatutaki waendelee na ile miradi yao wenyewe wanaifanyia, kwa sababu hakuna negotiation yenye inafanyika pale ndani.
1,000 residents of Homa Bay County who were forced out of their homes by floods are now pleading with the government to assist them with food and improved housing. And in Samburu County, residents of Ngari village are staring at imminent danger from Nyakunyungo Dam that is full and its walls have started to crack.
The displaced families who had camped at Sindo, Osodo and Simbi areas in Homa Bay County have complained about the inhabitable conditions there and called on the government to provide better non-food and food supplies and shelter.
We have just used what we have locally for now, and we hope that the national government can also dispatch a high level of support to this part of the country.
There's a second home where we lost 3 children. Where their house was, you can't reconstruct there. And even where to bury the 3 children is a problem now.
Kwa nyumba zetu zote zilijaa maji, mali zilienda, vitabu za watoto na vile sasa tunataka kufungua shule, hatujui vile tunataka kufanya.
In Samburu County, residents of Ngari village have urged the government to help avert the danger posed by Nakunyugo Dam that is overflowing and a crack has emerged on its wall. The area chief has, however, urged residents living downstream to vacate and move to higher grounds.
Jana niliambia watu wame, hawachana kwa sababu jana ndio leo dalili ya damu naendelea kujaa. Sasa leo usiku mbwa alinyesha zaidi, mbwa nyingi. Sasa sisi asubuhi na wasee, sisi kwaje kuamka kuangalia tu damu yetu kama iko na manakani. Sisi kwaje kuona damu iko hatarini kwa sababu maji imeanza kujaa kabisa mpaka juu.
In Kiambu County's Thika East sub-county, heavy rains have displaced over 2,000 residents of Mukunike and Gishiki villages. Most of the houses in the area either collapsed or were submerged by floods. An non-governmental organization provided them with humanitarian assistance. 7 houses in the area were reduced to rubble, leaving occupants homeless and helpless.
Tumeweza kufikia 50 households ambao ziko na watoto wengi, na tutaendelea na usaidizi wetu every day, na haswa usaidizi wa kushauri wale wote wameathiriwa.
Tumeathirika na mvua na chakula na penye pa kulala hatuna.
In Magarini, the floods menace took a cultural dimension after a baobab tree that the community valued for their cultural rights and also tourist attraction was swept by waters from Sabaki River.
Mikatilili wa Menza alipokuwa akijificha akitafutwa na wakoloni, mbuyu huu ndio ulikuwa pango lake la kujificha, ili kujificha kwa sababu ya kukimbia wakoloni na kupanga mipango yake pale.
I heard about this yesterday evening and I didn't sleep until after 2 this morning because it's very, very sad for the people in Malindi.
Kasi Chanamasha, Lunchtime News.
All right, now to our weekly segment, the Cabinet. This week we are featuring MP, a former Member of Parliament, Philip Masinde.
Philip Masinde was born in 1933 in Nambale Town, Busia District, now Busia County. He worked as a teacher at various intermediate schools in Western Kenya before independence. Soon after, he won a scholarship from the Catholic Church to study in the Netherlands. He earned a degree in political and social sciences and returned home at independence. He became a labor officer and then moved to the East African Airways as a human resource manager. In 1988, at the age of 55, Masinde joined politics and was elected as Nambale Member of Parliament, an elective office he held until 1997, during which he also served as Labour Minister. Masinde was appointed to head the Labour docket after the 1992 multi-party general election. Moi reshuffled his cabinet several times. Masinde served in the same ministry for the full 5-year parliamentary term. He inherited the crisis involving billions of shillings lost at NSSF and, to a lesser scale, the National Hospital Insurance Fund, and served during the crisis over teachers' salary ahead of the 1997 general election. In the 1997 election, Masinde lost his KANU nomination and parliamentary seat to Chris Okemo. He served as a 2-term Nambale Member of Parliament. He is remembered as an amiable Labour Minister who dealt effectively with the crisis he faced in office. Jackie Wambiru, the Cabinet.
And on tourism matters, the Isambo Beach on the shores of Lake Victoria is part of the beauty in Busia County. The beach is positioned to offer access to Lake Victoria for cruise ship tourism, with investors currently maximizing on boat safari, bird watching and sport fishing expeditions. This week on Magical Scenes, we feature the county of Busia. Busia County can be accessed by air, water and road. The road from Busia town to Isambo Beach has long stretches with amazing scenery. It would take you an hour at the most to arrive at Isambo Beach from Busia town. Isambo Beach sits comfortably on the shores of Lake Victoria, opening up to the expansive sight of the water body. The beach is tucked between the hills of Singwe and Mwita on the Kenya-Uganda border. The hills are notably charming with natural surroundings and views. Picture this, an afternoon in a rural setup where you can enjoy the product of the beach, at the same time enjoy the scenery that comes with the hills around these destinations, including birding. A sneak peek on what to do at Isambo when on a visit reveals repeat visitors at the lake prefer kayaking at the open lake, with some opting for boat sailing, swimming at the lake, while some appreciate relaxing by the lake for a lifetime memory.
Urembo wenyewe unaonekana, pengine mwenye asiyekuwa tuna uwezo kuona ndiye atasema hii nafasi si ya kupendeza, lakini nafasi nzuri sana kwa sababu kuna hewa safi, kuna muonekano wa maji, mandhari yako sawa. Ukikaa hapo unaweza ona island, Sumba Island pale. Kuna mambo mengi pia kupendeza. So kwa hivyo tunapenda sisi kama watu wa area hii tunapenda kuja hapa kutulia. Kidogo sasa mnajua mambo ni mengi ya dunia, lakini sasa tunapenda kuja hapa kutulia. Kuja hapa una relax kweli.
Island boat rides and sport fishing are additional expeditions at play along Isambo Beach. Isambo Beach, christened the jewel of Lake Victoria, hosts the annual Isambo International Beach Carnival. The festival in the calendar of the people of Abanyala in Busia aims at celebrating the community's natural resources and culture.
We also have beach sports, beach football, and our famous boat, St. Helena.
Irene, Muchuma, Udim, magical scenes in Busia. From tourism matters, the untold story of Busia. Now to other news making headlines this afternoon. President William Ruto has called on the newly sworn-in top command of the Kenya Defence Forces to serve the people of Kenya without fear or favor and make the force an institution that will provide for the security and the integrity of the country. The head of state spoke during the investiture of the looks. I'll take that news item again. And President William Ruto spoke during the investiture of ranks and swearing in of the officers at State House, Nairobi.
You will exercise authority, but you must remember that exercising authority comes with huge responsibility, and responsibility comes with accountability. Our Kenya Defence Forces has a history of professionalism, a history of loyalty, commitment, and a history that speaks many positive things about the Republic of Kenya. I exhort you to live up to that history.
The government has received a consignment of 40 tons of food items from the government of the United Arab Emirates, for victims of floods in various parts of the country. Speaking while receiving the consignment at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi, arid and semi-arid Cabinet Secretary Penina Malonza said that the food items that include cooking oil, rice, milk powder, white peas and sugar, among others, will be distributed to the affected families beginning next week. She also said another 40 tons of food and non-food items is expected to arrive in the country soon, as she puts the number of Kenyans so far lost due to floods at 210 and affected households at 33,100.
The next aircraft to come in today or tomorrow with another 40 tons of non-food items and food. We'll have 20 tons of non-food items and 20 tons of food again. So in total, we will receive 60 tons of food and we will receive 20 tons of non-food items from the government of UAE.
All right, and back to the features. This afternoon, we are looking at our weekly segment, The Military Tales, and we are featuring Richard Onchwari. Take a look.
For this week's edition of Military Tales, we are at Kiamunyeki in Lanet, Nakuru County. An interesting name, so to speak. Kiamunyeki is a combination of 4 counties: Kiambu, Murang'a, Nyeri, and Kirinyaga. There's this region, majorly, a lot of people who hail from this place in the beginning were majorly from those 4 counties. But it has been now, it's now a cosmopolitan, and we are welcomed by one warrant officer, one retired Richard Onchwari. Begin by telling us your life history, where you were born and even how you joined the military.
Richard Onchwari Atuke was born in Nyamira County, 68 years ago. That is on 21st of I think July 1956. I joined a school known as St. Peter's. Primary school. That was in the year 1969. Then in the year 1970, I did my CPE. After doing my CPE, I joined Menengai High School up to 1974. Then 1975, 76, 77, I was at home doing manual works, helping the parents with the normal work at home. Then in the year 1978, 1st of September, I was enlisted in the army. As usual, we reported to the Armed Forces Training College. My first line of work was 78 Tank Battalion. I was very lucky. That is the time they were forming the Tank Battalion. 78 Tank Battalion, we formed it in Gilgil. Later on, we moved to Lanet. From Lanet, that was the year 1979 now. We assembled at Lanet, then we went to Isiolo, where the battalion is even this time. My line of work, immediately I joined the tank battalion. I was trained as a gunner. The tank is divided into many parts. There's the gunnery, there's the loader, and there is the driver. Then I was trained as a gunner. Later on, I was converted to be a multi-purpose around the tank.
Onchwari is among the lucky few soldiers to serve under 4 presidents. He says the Kenya Defense Force's regular training and discipline makes Kenya a formidable military force.
I call them the days of plenty because we used to have a lot of exercises. There was plenty of fuel, there was plenty of food. So anytime we could go out for training. There are some weapons that have been now brought to the army, which is very good, which is a very big step. So many modernization was done in the army. So many units were formed. Compared to the other armies in Africa, I think we are okay.
The veteran notes that the new emerging security challenges should be prioritized to ensure all borders are safe.
Security has no compromise. Even if you are 99% right, the 1% lapse that we have left there can cause a lot of havoc. So my advice is that we should be serious as the job requires.
He vividly recalls the 1982 attempted coup when he was the guard commander on the material day of his 78 tank battalion.
Nataka niseme kwamba yale yaliyotokea leo asubuhi kwa muda mfupi iliyoletea wananchi wasiwasi mwingi sasa imeangamizwa na jeshi letu la nchi kavu na polisi.
That day was on a Sunday, and by that time I was a corporal, full corporal. Unfortunately or unfortunately, I was the guard commander. I remember very well.
Where were you exactly?
At the main gate, 78 tank battalion. It was so tense because most of the army personnel were not in camp. They were in load for an exercise. So a few of us who were there, we were the ones who were taking care of the security of the camp. And this normally is brought about by politics. You know, the army people never go for this coup. The coups are incited by the politicians. So when a country has good politicians, there is no possibility of getting a coup. The army is apolitical. We don't indulge in any politics. In fact, it's a grave offense if you are found discussing anything to do with politics in the barracks.
He was part of the soldiers in the Shifter War in the northern part of Kenya and also been part of the United Nations Peace Mission in South Sudan. He says his experiences there made him treasure peace.
The problem that was in northeastern was the problems of the shifter and a few people from our side who were favoring them. But this was taken care of by the government, and later on the area was cleared and everything went on very well. I served in one. This is in United Nations Peace Mission in Southern Sudan. This is the year 2008 and 2009. I served there, and that's why you heard me telling you that peace is very paramount. In Southern Sudan, I saw what I've never seen in my life, because there they don't value life. You could just get corpses lying there anyhow. But anyway, when we got there, I think we persuaded them, we talked to them, and long last, I think they began adhering to whatever they were supposed to adhere to.
What many may not know is that experiences in the battlefield have a toll on soldiers as well.
I've got some problems. You know, I was working in the armor. The armor is a heavy weapon that requires a lot of using a lot of force every day. Sometimes I'm unable to go about my job, my normal jobs here because of the backache.
He adds that many soldiers, including himself, have been scarred in the line of duty, adding that it was worth it for the sake of peace. He notes the transition of soldiers from military life to civilian life is a challenge and cautions young serving soldiers to plan for their future outside the barracks.
Finally, we must go home. And there's one say that I used to tell them, even if you go anywhere in the world, you'll never find a grave in an army camp. Which means, even if you excel in which way, you'll never be buried there. So, whenever you get chance of going home, go and work.
The leadership skills that he gained in the military has greatly impacted his life and his community. Something that Kenyans don't know about soldiers?
Soldiers are very special people. Soldiers never quarrel, if you don't know. Soldiers never fight, even amongst ourselves.
Onchwari spends his time farming and is also into business. He is married and has a family.
I'm married. I have kids between the ages of 40 and 30.
He's parting short.
What I would like to urge my Kenya colleagues and the politicians, I can only tell them that we have got only one country, which is Kenya. And if we ban this country, there is nowhere we run to.
For Military Tales, I'm Ben Troinjue.
Thank you, Ben Troinjue, for that report. Well, President William Ruto is this hour expected to address the nation. We have Able Team at State House. Will be crossing over live when the team advises so. But for now, we are taking our first commercial break. We'll be back with more news, including ones making headlines in the world of business and sports. Stay with us.
Hiya, Chep, you agree with Kamene that we are all drafts?
From her point of view, I can say yes.
How will a blind person read another blind person?
There goes another madman in the making.
Let me just compose myself, Julia. Did this girl just call us Akilidun?
Yeah, Kamene, not everyone is a walkover. You better shape up or ship out.
You want me being featured in your music video, eh? I am telling you that is going to break all records you watch. Hafiz on my zest. Hafiz on my zest.
Thank you for keeping it KBC Channel 1. Welcome back. Now, 2 Italian nationals have been charged by the Kilifi law court for allegedly obtaining 32 million shillings by false pretense from 2 fellow Italians at a resort in Watamu, Kilifi County. Appearing before Kilifi Chief Magistrate Julius Mukut Nangea, the 2 accused pleaded not guilty to the charges and were each released on a 3 million shillings bond and 1 Kenyan surety of the same amount. The cases are slated for mention on May 13th.
If the accused persons choose to deposit cash bail, each one of them will provide 1 Kenyan contact person, which the court may reach out to in the event they fail to appear in court. And in my view, this is a reasonable safeguard that does not otherwise infringe the accused person's constitutional right to bond or bail, so the court gives ruling accordingly.
In business, listed agricultural firm Sasini PLC plans to enhance training and extension services on sustainable farming practice for over 30,000 smallholder farmers who supply the farm. This is contained in the farm sustainability report that has committed to provide inspection and extension services to produce high-quality tea, coffee, macadamia, and avocado.
Diversifying our crop base. We are traditionally a tea and coffee business. About 5 years ago, we went in macadamia and avocado. Those are doing very well, contributing about between 30 and 40% of our profit now. products we launched less than 5 years back. And so we'll continue to look for new crops to get into towards that goal of being the continent's #1.
We have also plans for geographical expansion. We believe that we have superior technology to many of our neighbors, and therefore, of course, well, go where, just as Equity Bank went into the DRC, we're thinking of, expanding geographically as well. And then also, what we try to do is to make sure that we have the very best talent that we can get.
Developers should prioritize investment in robust drainage systems, citing the significant contribution to property value preservation and community resilience in urban development. The call for action comes amid growing concerns over strained infrastructural systems in urban centers.
Zoning laws are paramount for sustainable urban growth, job creation, and enhancing the overall quality of life for residents. Rains being experienced in various parts of the country have put a strain on key infrastructure projects, among them drainage and sewer systems. Muredi says policymakers should review zoning regulations in the real estate sector to ensure efficient drainage system, especially in urban areas.
Or probably the fact that we only have enhanced urban regulations in Nairobi County, but we don't have them probably in Machakos or in Kiambu, it will also catch up with us. So is there a way we can have these particular counties we are talking about reviewed in terms of infrastructure as one block, so that now the planning can be done to ensure that we are able to zone all those localities properly by reviewing, first of all, their drainage areas, their drainage problems that they are facing, and also asking ourselves, how can we develop them in stages? How can we have a long kind of vision for that particular locality, that is Nairobi Metropolitan?
He called for a coordinated approach between the public and private sector to review existing zoning laws.
The challenge has been, we have very good regulations, very good laws when it comes to zoning, when it comes to public goods, but now when it comes to implementation, that is where we have a challenge. Why? Look at most of the estates that we have within Nairobi. You realize we have not well designated which portions are supposed to be used for residential, commercial, and so forth.
Frederick Moki for Lunchtime News.
The Credit Guarantee Scheme, CGS, has cumulatively disbursed 6.2 billion shillings since its launch 4 years ago. Credit Guarantee Scheme Steering Committee member Aleke Dondo says the government is envisioning an improved scheme to push this number higher by allowing micro and small-medium enterprises to own shares and borrow more in the proposed Kenya Credit Guarantee Scheme company.
It may start with ownership by the government. The government has some money to put in, and the private sector. But with time, this is a company that should be listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
More of the micro will be coming in. The other aspect is that we are going to see more women, youth, and persons living with disability being supported.
Welcome to Channel 1 Sports. 12 top teams, 6 men and 6 women, will compete in the inaugural Eliud Owalo Invitational Basketball Tournament to be played from the 10th to 12th of this month at the Ulinzi Sports Complex and Nyayo National Stadium. Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo announced that the event's winners in both categories will pocket 300,000 shillings each. The runners-up will walk away with 200,000 shillings each, while third-placed teams will be rewarded 100,000 shillings each. There will be a 40,000 shillings reward for the fourth-placed teams in both categories. CS Oalo also made it clear that all the players who will participate in the tournament will have something to carry home when it comes to a close. The men's category has national champions KPA, Equity Bank Doomers, Ulinzi Warriors, Nairobi City Thunder, USIU, and Strathmore University Blades. The ladies' teams are KPA, Zetech University Sharks, Equity Bank Hawks, Strathmore University Swords, USIU Flames, and Storms. Ferdinando Manyala will anchor the 4x100 meters men relays as Kenya targets to hit the Olympic qualification mark at the 6th World Relays set for tomorrow and Sunday in Bahamas. The top 14 at the Nassau Bahamas Championships will earn direct tickets for Summer Olympic Games.
Kenya has a formidable team for the 4x400 meters and the 4x100 meters men in the Bahamas Championship, with the top 14 teams in the rank booking direct tickets for the Olympic Games, set for 26th July to 11th August in Paris, France. The men's 4x100 meters, 38th in ranking, will be anchored by the fastest man in Africa, Ferdinando Manyala, and consist of Marco Tieno, Samuel Waweru, Hesbon Ochieng, Mike Mokamba, and Meshak Babu. Boniface Muresa, Weissman Were, Zablon Ekwam, and Moitalel Mpoke will lead the 4x400 meter team that sits 50th in the world ranking.
We have also the 4x100 meters where Omanyala is also going to run one of the legs, and then for 400 meters that also will have people like Mweresa competing in one of the legs. So we have the potential that we can show in the Sweet 16 that will take part in the Olympics. So I am very optimistic about that. And our athletes also are very, very enthusiastic. They are excited.
Meanwhile, the 4x400 meter women has suffered a major blow after the withdrawal of World 800 meters champion Mary Moraa. Vanis Kerubo, Joan Cherono, Rahab Wanjiru, Jacqueline Nanjala, Veronica Mutua, and Diana Chebet will have a daunting task to grab an Olympic slot as Kenya is ranked 83rd in the world. Kenya bagged 2 silver medals in the 4x200 meters, both men and women, in the 2021 edition in Silesia, Poland.
We have seen the performance that have greatly improved because of the support and the sponsorship given to them, because the support from the government through National Olympic Committee, and we are very thankful also to the Ministry of Sports for ensuring that they get that finance.
The Bahamas Championship will consist of 2 rounds of Olympic qualification before finals set for early Monday.
Beat Tottenham Hotspurs 2-0 at Stamford Bridge to keep them in the quest for European football, while Tottenham are 7 points behind Aston Villa with a game in hand in their battle for 4th place.
Headed the rebound into an empty net.
Nicholas Jackson against Tottenham.
Chelsea has now moved to 8th place, just 2 points behind Newcastle.
The pass back finish, and he put it wide, and his teammates throw their arms up in the air and say you ought to be doing better than that, old friend.
And on that note, we have come to the end of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. A quick recap. President William Ruto is this hour expected to address the nation. We have able team at State House will be crossing over live when the team advises so. And the death toll from severe weather conditions stand at 310. These as 33,000 households have been affected. For more details on this and many more, do log on to www.kbc.co.ke. My name is Irene Muchuma. On the language interpretation, we have Susan Toku. Good afternoon.
You have his eyes.
He does not know you're here.
But truth, we cannot harm Mr. Cake.
You think?
That will be breaking the law.
How do you think J&J was built?
Alice, if anything happens to me...
You'll what?
I will hound you from 6 feet under.
You had only one job, George.
Wacha kunichekesha hivyo, my ribs still hurts.
You should be grateful that's the only part of your body that hurts.
1 minute tulikuwa na yeye. The next minute ametoka nje. I didn't know you were coming back today.
Nah, I just came in to hand in my resignation letter. If it is about the salary, I can talk to your boss. Not really. It's not about the pay.
Alice really convinced you, huh?
It doesn't look like a very good day for J&J.
He's not alone.
Uko sure kuna Ronald?
Nani mwingine amequit?
Will you tell him or should I, Ronald?
Huyo Kaikara amekuthreaten na nini?
Haya, Chep, you agree with Kamene that we are all drafts?
From her point of view, I can say yes.
How will a blind person read another blind person?
There goes another madman in the making.
Let me just compose myself, Julia Moon. Did this girl just call us Akilidun?
Yeah, Kamene, not everyone is a walkover. You better shape up or ship out.
You want me being featured in your music video, eh? I am telling you that is going to break all records you watch.
Hafiz on my chest. Hafiz on my chest.
Hello and welcome